For decades, newspapers, and not just newspapers, but magazines, and to a great extent TV too, journalism has been predominantly funded by advertising. 30 years ago, if you were paying for a magazine or a newspaper, you weren't actually paying the cost to have that magazine or newspaper put together and delivered to you. Advertising really was paying the bulk of these costs. That is going away. Print advertising is shrinking radically. It's not going away, but it's shrinking a lot. And digital advertising is not only smaller, but a huge portion of digital advertising dollars are going to only two companies, Google and Facebook. And this creates an enormous challenge for most journalistic outfits. The New York Times is in an extremely privileged position because we have several million people in this country and around the world who are willing to pay for digital-only access. We're up to 2.5 million people, plus the hundreds of thousands who still get our print paper and pay good money for it as well. But many, many journalistic organizations are not in that position. And so while for us, every dollar of advertising that we're losing, we're actually making more than making up for it so far in our new subscriptions, that's really not the norm. And I do worry a lot about what will happen to a journalistic market where more places basically have to have their readers directly funding what they are doing. Facebook has a big influence on the New York Times and all journalism in a few different ways. So one, it's become a huge delivery channel, right? And so we have to think about what's the best way to package our work for Facebook. That's a relatively minor thing. You want to think about, what are those 20 words that people are going to see on Facebook? What is that one picture people are going to see on Facebook? You want to make sure that it is accurate. You want to make sure that it's alluring enough that people might consider clicking on it. And you want to make sure it's consistent with the brand, for lack of a better word. The bigger way Facebook is influencing us, though, or the bigger two ways, or one, it is this massive community, right, which we can use as reporters, which can discuss our articles, and it's important for us to figure out a way to interact with that community. I think there can be really interesting discussions about our journalism on Facebook, discussions that didn't ever actually happen before because people were reading the New York Times alone at their breakfast table. And now they're able to read it almost with their friends. And that's a good development. Then there's the advertising impact, which is the fact is Facebook is just getting a lot of ad revenue that previously would have gone to companies that were directly providing journalism. And the same way that Facebook is sort of wrestling with its role in the 2016 election and the promulgation of false information, I think it's important for Facebook to wrestle with what does a world look like if it is getting the bulk of advertising dollars? How does it make sure, as a good corporate citizen, that it isn't essentially putting news organizations out of business? And I think Facebook's starting to grapple with that, but it's going to be tricky to figure out. We still have a large print subscription base. People pay really good money. And I would just say, subjectively, I think it's a great product. What the Times has decided, basically, is that it has increased the number of people internally who are purely dedicated to the print newspaper. And you might say, well, wait a second, why would you do that at a time of rapid digital change? Well, the reason you want to do that is, one, you want to make sure that the print newspaper remains excellent. And two, you want to free up a lot of other people basically not to worry about print. So if you are a reporter, you don't need to worry about print. If you are an editor of stories, you mostly don't need to worry about print. Your job is to produce the best possible journalism you can. And then you know that at the end of the day, someone's going to take that journalism and it's already been on the web. They're going to figure out a way to package the very best stuff that we've done that day and put it into print. If we've done 9 stories today on the tax bill, not all 9 are going to go into print. It's going to be a curated experience. And there's no way to do it perfectly, right? There are tensions here. But I think that's basically the right way for the New York Times. There's actually a fair amount of innovation going on in print right now. it's kind of old school innovation. It's not innovation like The Daily, our podcast, which has these millions of listens. It's not innovation like some of our new digital products, but it's still innovation. So we're putting out sections that we've never put out before. We've published 2 print sections for kids. We've published long-form journalism in its own section that follows the normal newspaper. The magazine has done exciting things. And so I think one of the things that we've tried to do is give people a real sense that there is intellectual and commercial energy around print the same way there is around digital, even if we acknowledge that over time we are likely to become ever more digital.